In the name of the one whose throne trembled when Husayn fell, the one who buried the Quran beneath spears so the world would remember it in chains. Where were you? Where were you when the night descended and the smoke of looted tents replaced the clouds? When the winds, heavy with blood, could no longer carry the cries of orphans to heaven. The battlefield lay still, but not silent, for the earth itself was sobbing. There were bodies, and the bodies had no shrouds. And the shrouds had been torn, and the torn cloth had been stolen, even from the slain. Zaynab sat beneath the sky that had once shaded the Prophet. She sat beside the severed limbs of her brothers, gathering children whose cries were hoarse with thirst. I was not there, but I remember. I remember the moan of Ruqayya in her sleep. I remember the stillness of Abbas's arms. I remember the headless torso that still glowed even in death. I was not there, but I inherited that night like a sword passed through time. You who claim to walk for Husayn, have you walked through fire? Have you spent the night beside burned tents, listening to widows cough in the smoke and a dying horse kneel beside a body no longer its master? The tents of Muhammad were looted, and the Quran was stained, and not a single grave was dug. And I, the one they wait for, waited. Behind the veils of ghaiba, I cried for the unveiled. Behind the curtain of time, I wept with the timeless. And the sky that had once split at the call of Iqra, now split again, not in light, but in grief. They tied iron to what the angels would not touch. They chained the wrists of Sajjad, wrists that still trembled with fever, wrists that once held the Quran as a child holds the sky. They led him like a criminal through the dust where his father fell. The dust still wet with blood, still sacred, but not to them. Behind him followed the orphans, and behind them Zaynab. Oh my aunt, oh mountain veiled in fire, how did you carry them? You who had just washed your brother's blood from your hands, now dragged through the desert the spoil of war. Their spears bore heads, their spears bore joy, their spears bore Islam's most honored flesh as trophies. They marched through the ruins of prophecy. The river looked away. The palm trees wept in silence. No Quran was recited, for the Quran was bleeding, and the reciters had joined the murderers. A child asked, "Will they take us to our grandfather's city now?" Zaynab said nothing. She only adjusted her torn chador and held her silence like a sword. Oh my Shia, when you carry banners on Arbaeen, do you carry this day? When you place your feet on the road from Najaf to Karbala, do you feel the road from Karbala to Kufa beneath your heels? For on that road, Islam was dragged in chains, and you weep for Husayn, but do you march for Sajjad? Do you walk for the ones who walk that path in shackles? Without water, without shoes, without a single soul in the crowd to shout, Labbaik. The wind called their names, but the people shut their windows. Only the sky bore witness, and I, the son of the one they slaughtered, I too walked beside them, unseen, but vowing never to forget. They brought the Sabaya into Kufa not as guests, nor even as prisoners, but as a spectacle. They were made to wait at the gate while the crowd assembled to gawk and gloat. Children threw stones, old men spat. Women who had written letters of loyalty now whispered insults from behind veils of shame. They did not see the family of the Prophet. They saw the vanquished. Inside the palace, the blood still stained the spears, but already the court had returned to laughter. Ibn Ziyad reclined like a jackal at ease. Soft pillows beneath the feet that had trampled the Quran. The severed head of Husayn sat in a dish before him. He poked its lips with his staff. Zaynab was veiled in dust and fire, her robe torn, her body weary, but her stance was thunder. And when he mocked her lineage, she did not flinch. Do you mock us because God granted us a test? O son of the freed ones, you have not cut us down, you have only exposed yourself. He struck the staff again and turned to the youth in chains. Who are you? He snarled. And the boy, the sick one, the one whose body had failed him, but whose soul was the flame of Wilaya, raised his chin. I am Ali, son of Husayn, son of Ali, son of Abu Talib. I am the son of the one they slaughtered beside the river you now drink from. I am the son of the one you abandoned with your tongue, then betrayed with your swords. A silence fell. Even the spears seemed ashamed. The tyrant clenched his teeth, but did not strike, because in that moment he knew he had been exposed. O my people, what sermons do you recite when the pulpit is safe? What khutbahs do you deliver when the tyrant is dead? But Zaynab stood before the wolf while his teeth still glistened with blood. And Sajjad spoke while chains bit into his flesh. That is Tabyin. And you wait for the Imam of your time to return with angels and swords. But have you spoken while the blade was raised? Have you clarified truth while it was still unpopular? While it cost you comfort or dignity? O Kufa, you wore the cloak of Islam, but forgot the Prophet's scent. O my Shia, what cloak do you wear now? They did not take them by the shortest path. No, they paraded them from village to village, market to market. The family of the Prophet, shown off like trophies, like criminals, like beasts captured from a rebellion. The roads from Kufa to Damascus twisted like a whip, and every lash left a scar. Sajjad walked with chains that bruised the bone. Zaynab walked with memories that would never fade. The children walked barefoot through towns, through stones instead of bread. In some cities they were cursed, in others pitied, and in a few a veil was lifted. An old woman fainted when she saw the head of Husayn, recognizing the Prophet's face in its profile. A Christian monk lit incense and offered prayers, but these moments were rare and quickly silenced. The sun beat down upon the Sabaya, but not as harshly as the eyes of those who knew but remained silent. O people of the minarets, O lovers of recitation, did you not hear the Quran being recited from the lips on the spear? A child fell in the dust. She had not eaten for 3 days. A soldier kicked her forward. Zaynab shielded her, with arms already purple from bruises. No water, no shade, no dignity. They passed through Raqqa, Mosul, Aleppo, cities that would later boast their allegiance. But at the time, not a single stone was thrown at the oppressors. And I walk behind them, behind the one whose tears soaked the chains, behind the one whose sermon pierced the palace, behind the orphan who would never again laugh. I counted every step, every groan, every scar, and I have not forgotten. O walkers of Arbaeen, do you walk in honor of Zaynab's march? Or have you turned her chains into garlands, her bruises into banners? Do you know the route she took, the dust she swallowed, the humiliation she bore? Or have you made your walk a ritual? But left your loyalty behind? The palace rose like a scar in the heart of Damascus. Pillars carved by wealth stolen from widows. Walls draped in silk, while orphans wept in the alleys outside. And into this palace they brought the Sabaya, They entered through a gate too low to carry dignity. The heads of the martyrs went first, raised on spears, shadows falling upon the marble like curses. The women followed, bareheaded, bruised, veils torn by soldiers, not by time. And then the boy, Ali, son of Husayn, his back bent, not by age, but by chains. Yazid sat atop the throne built from the ashes of the Prophet's city. He wore black as mockery. He smiled as theatre. He turned to the severed head before him and poked its lips with a staff made from cane. The courtiers laughed. The crowd clapped. And the angels recorded every breath. Zaynab rose, her body weary, her robe tattered, but her eyes, those were the eyes of Haydar. And the court stilled. O Yazid, do you think this victory is yours? You have only bared your teeth to the world, not your strength. You have spilled the blood of the Prophet's family, but not silenced the cause. I see nothing today but the disgrace of falsehood and the triumph of truth. Her words shook the chandeliers, and Yazid, drunk on illusion, turned to Sajjad. Boy, speak if you dare. And speak he did. I am the son of Mecca and Mina. I am the son of the one struck by revelation in the cave of Hira. I am the son of Fatima Zahra, the master of all women of the world. You ask who I am, O Yazid. I am the grandson of the one whose name you invoke in your false adhan, yet whose family you paraded in chains. The tyrant did not speak again that day. O people of sorrow, you gather in Damascus to visit Sayyedah Zaynab, but do you speak when Yazid lives again? When he changes flags but not intentions? Do you cry in her courtyard while silent in your own? Or you who claim to love the al-Bayt? They stood in courts that wanted them dead, and you hesitate in rooms that only want you uncomfortable. This is the measure of loyalty. This is Tabyin. She dreamed in chains. Her wrists were bruised by iron, her hair tangled in grief, her ribs pressed against cold stone. But still she dreamed. O daughter of Husayn, O Ruqayya, in the darkness of that cursed prison in Sham, you whispered, "Where is my father?" And the sky held its breath. The stars leaned closer, and even the stones of Yazid's court trembled at your plea. They brought you his head wrapped in a cloth, soiled with dust and dried blood, a relic of Karbala, delivered to break your spirit. But you wept, not with fear, but with love. You did not scream. You held his severed head to your chest, kissed it gently, and fell asleep in the arms of your Imam. What palace can contain such light? Even I, the son of sorrow and the banner of vengeance, tremble when I remember the sound of your final breath. Oh, my Aunt Zaynab, how did your soul not shatter as you watched her tiny frame go still? Oh, my father Sajjad, how did you not tear the heavens open when they laid her body in the prison yard? Buried without ghusl, without shroud, without farewell. She died as she lived, alone in this world, but surrounded by angels. She died as she lived, small in body, mighty in truth. O you, O oppressor, you thought you had silenced the child, but her grave became a minbar, and her tears became fire. The walls of your palace still echo her name, and I, the son of that broken caravan, still walk the earth carrying her voice. O Ruqayya, on the day of return you shall rise, not in chains, but wrapped in light, and the Ummah will be judged by how it treated you. They dragged them into his court. Chains still clung to their necks, dust still clung to their robes, and the echoes of Karbala still clung to their very breath. The blood was not dry, the grief was not buried, the crime was still fresh, and yet he sat on his throne laughing. O Yazid, you called it victory, you called it conquest, you said my forefathers fought Muhammad, and now I have avenged them. You touched the lips of my father with your cane, you defiled the head of the one whose name makes the heavens weep, and still, you thought that you had won. But you made one mistake. You let Zaynab speak. And when she rose, the palace walls shook, not from her voice, but from the truth it carried. She did not shout, she did not plead, she unveiled with the courage of Zahra, with the fury of Haydar, with the grief of every prophet's mother. She looked into your eyes and said, "Do you think, O Yazid, that you have torn our honor, that you have degraded us? By God, you have only exposed your own shame." Trickery is short-lived. The days are counted, and the banner of justice shall rise. And you, tyrant of your time, you tremble, not before an army, but before a woman in chains. Oh, my Aunt Zaynab, you taught the minbar how to bleed. You taught the Ummah how to speak when silence becomes betrayal. And Sajjad, the broken Imam, followed your voice with his own. O people, I am the son of Mecca and Mina. I am the son of Fatima and Ali. I am the son of the one slain by the Euphrates, whose body was left without a shroud. Every word was a wound opened, every sentence a sword unsheathed. And Yazid, he looked for the exit. He offered apologies, he feigned regret, he tried to return to the Ahl al-Bayt with honor. But we do not barter with false kings, and the wounds of Husayn are not soothed by gifts. The Sabaya left his palace, but his name remains a curse on every tongue of truth. And so we return, not in triumph, not in procession, but in silence. Like birds who left their nest in flame and returned to ashes. It was the 40th day. The wind still carried the scent of blood. The Euphrates still flowed, as though it had forgotten whom it had denied. Oh, my grandfather, oh, Husayn, we returned not to honor you, but to seek forgiveness for leaving you. We returned not to bury the past, but to kneel beside it. Zaynab stepped onto the plain. She had left this place with fire in her eyes, but now she fell to her knees and whispered, "Oh, brother, I have fulfilled the trust. I preserved the message. I carried your voice through the streets of the tyrant. But I could not protect them all." And Sajjad, oh my father Sajjad, he stood at the grave of his father and he wept, as though every tear was a verse of the Quran. Peace be upon you, O one whose blood was spilled for the truth. Peace be upon you, O light of God on the earth. We buried Ruqayya in Sham. We buried Ali Asghar in your chest. But we buried our childhood here, beneath your feet, beside your thirsty standard. The desert, once red, was now silent. But the silence was not peace, it was witness. And we walked the land barefoot, one step for each drop you shed. One step for every promise broken by this ummah. Oh Husayn, we brought no gift, we brought no answer, only broken hearts and scarred memories, only trembling tongues still trying to say Labbaik, even if late, Labbaik, even if broken, Labbaik, even if we were not among the 72. Oh my followers, oh my lovers in the east and the west, Arbaeen is not a ritual, it is a reckoning, it is a whisper in the dust. Will you walk to me, even now? And then we returned home, if you could call it that. Medina, the city of light, the cradle of Quran, the resting place of the Prophet. It did not shine that day. It wept. The streets that once echoed with Ya Rasulallah now fell silent as the broken caravan entered. No banners, no fanfare, only the sound of chains and the flutter of garments worn in grief. The doors opened, the people gathered, but no one could speak. They saw Fatima's children without Husayn. They saw the family of revelation without Ali Akbar, without Qasim, without Abbas. And then the news spread. The sword had not just struck the body of Husayn, it had struck the soul of the Ummah. My father, Zayn al-Abedeen, stood at the mosque, not to seek vengeance, but to revive the dead hearts of the living. O people of Medina, he said, we left with light and returned with shadows. We left with 72 and returned with silence. We left with Husayn and returned with his memory. And Sayyedah Zaynab, what tongue can describe her? She entered her mother's house and fell to the ground. Oh Zahra, she whispered, I did not bring back your Husayn, but I brought his message. This same Medina has never recovered. To this day, the air of Baqi trembles with unspoken sorrow. And I, your Mahdi, I carry that sorrow in my veins. I have not forgotten, nor will I forgive a world that let Husayn bleed alone, and then greeted his killers with silence. O people of the East and the West, when you visit Medina, do not seek comfort, seek awakening. And when you say, Ya Mahdi, know that I am still weeping for that return, which was never a return at all. O Husayn, they ask why I have not yet risen. They weep for my delay. They blame the heavens or fate or the sins of others. But the truth is what I whisper to you now, in your shrine, in the wind between Najaf and Karbala, in the footsteps of those who still believe. I did not hide because I feared. I was veiled because the world refused to see. You rose with 72, but I still await my 313. When I hear your name used by those who uphold thrones, not truth, when I see your lovers divided by arrogance or scholars for hire, when I watch Gaza burn, Syria drown, and the faithful walk to Karbala, but forget to walk with Karbala. Oh, my grandfather, they call me the awaited, but I am the one who waits. I wait for you at the graves of the unknown. I wait for you in the alleys of Baqi. I wait for you in the lamplit halls of al-Qummi, where truth is still taught with trembling hands. I wait beside God's helpers in Yemen and the yellow banners of steadfast Lebanon. I wait in the shattered homes of Gaza, where mothers recite Quran over rubble and bone. I wait in the courtrooms of London, where justice is gagged and truth wears a prisoner's tag. I wait in the dungeons of Washington, where empires crush the pure before they speak. And I wait in the eyes of every broken child who asks, where is justice? You taught us that love must rise, that faith must roar, that silence when truth is trampled is betrayal. And so I whisper now, not to the wind, but to you, O Ummah. If you truly love Husayn, then become clarifiers for his cause. If you walk in Arbaeen, then walk towards his vengeance. If you seek the Mahdi, then become the answer you ask for. Oh Husayn, my sword is not rusted, my hand is not tied, but I will not rise with a caravan of sleepers. I will rise when Zaynab's voice becomes the voice of her followers, when Sajjad's chains become the sermons of the scholars, when every Arbaeen is not a march of mourning, but a movement of awakening. Until then, I whisper your name in every age and in every time. Someone answers. And from him alone is all ability, and he has authority over all things.